moving forward today with the topics, and we'll see. So let me check the doc where we are headed, and then I guess probably we can start. All right, just a second. I'm finding the our folder where we write all our code. So probably this one is it. Hmm. Okay, got it. So I see that we are going to started with the DOM last day. Okay, so what are DOMs, and we're done with the arrays and object part. So how to iterate over the objects and how to iterate over the arrays, how do they function, and all those things were done, including the map function for each functions, and which we have slice, splice functions, callback functions, how the argument is passed, and everything related to data types and functions were done. If you have any doubt related to these topics, we can have a discussion. Otherwise, let's proceed forward. All right. So what I will be doing is, let's just drop a message and let's begin. Okay. So let's see if someone is going to join. Otherwise, we can start. Let me also present my screen. Hmm. So, objects in JavaScript, just as an object-oriented programming language, the key value pairs, adding property to the objects, square objects, heap storage. Okay. Then we had for each, map, for in, okay, for in loop, and for each and map difference. Is slice, and push, pop, shift, and shift. These methods were discussed for the arrays. We also got to know that arrays are the part or the subset of objects itself, so that, and the conclusion was that we can store key value pairs in arrays as we do in objects. Okay, so that was the conclusion. Also, arrays have some integral things like length properties there, which is defining the max integral index plus one. Moving on, so if this part is clear, so guys, did we do cloning of objects? I guess that thing is done or not yet. Do you guys remember? Okay. If not, let's get that done. So there is something called as, so objects we did in the last session, like how to create an object. Okay, so we saw that this is an object, and either we go with the template title, either we go with the new object syntax. Okay, so both the ways we can do. And this syntax is something looking like a calling a. So what is this syntax looking like, guys? You already have used this one.
New object. It's looking something like a constructor.
Yes, correct. So whenever we want to create an object, we have this call, and this call is basically calling the constructor. Now, if we just I hover over it, so we have an object constructor, and the same as the array constructor. So constructors for initializing things, the same as we have in Java, the same as we have here. But there's some difference. We'll just talk about that later. But yeah, this is how we create an array and create a function. So going beyond, so since we are like saying about objects, so let's have a quick discussion. So if you have already did this, uh, that is fine. Otherwise, let's have a quick revision if you haven't already did this. Now objects in here are key value pairs. Okay, objects in here are key value pairs. How do they function as? Basically, I will create a quick object. So just obj2, I can say that, let's have some properties. So a 45, and let's say that B is having true. Okay, so key value pairs. Now key is always has to be a string and the values can be anything. Okay, so values can be any boolean or data types or anything. And why key value pairs? So and the keys are unique also. So you'll say, sir, will this give an will this thing give an error or not? What do you guys think? I'm saying that keys has to be unique. So I'm having keys with same name. So is this going to give error?
I don't think so because you are creating A as an object, so it
Hmm.
will just replace the value with an object.
Yes, correct. So just a replacement will take place. So there is in although we are creating two A's, there will just be a replacement. So we can check our OBJ. Okay, so this is our OBJ and this is our OBJ. So just a replacement. Okay, so this is what we have. Now the next point is why do we need cloning? Let's see that also. Now, so I said that, for example, I want to clone this obj2. So I can say obj3 is equals to obj2. Okay, so I guess I remember we have done that. But anyways, let's see this. So tell me, guys, if I say obj3, so, okay, so if I print obj3, it's just similar to obj2, which is here. But here's the check. Obj3 dot a. Let's say I want to make it 89. So what do you guys think? OBJ3 property have changed. So how many of you say that OBJ2 property is changed or not changed? How?
I don't think it will change.
Okay. Any other answers, guys? How many of you say that OBJ2 property will also change? This is one object. I create another object. I change the property. How many of you saying that OBJ2 will reflect the change? Okay, see this, guys. OBJ2 dot a. Yes, the change is there. And what is the reason behind it? Who wants to say? What this statement is doing? Can someone tell?
It is assigning the values of obj3 to obj2 to obj3.
All right. And can we say that this obj3 is another name of obj2, not a different object?
Yeah, not a different object. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is pointing to that obj2. Yes, correct. So it's pointing to the same thing. There is no creation because creation is only with two ways. There are only two ways. Line number 25, line number 26.
Yeah. I think we discussed this, and I made the same mistake last time as well.
Okay.
I remember that.
Okay. There's
Yeah, we had discussed this.
so I guess this topic qualifies for revision. Okay. So see this, guys. The thing is, it will be a quick one. So we already have something. So something means we have this obj3 is equals to there's a capital O object, if you remember, and we had something called as assign property, which have the target. So target can be any existing object or a new object, and source can be any other thing. This is one way to do the thing. So when you say obj2 dot a equals to 34, now this time obj3 will not change. Okay, so now there is a assignment means you are really creating a object one way. Just a quick one. So the next is something called as a spread operator. Let's see this. So how many of you remember a spread operator? See this three dots, one, two, and three. And when you say obj2, so doing the okay. So this is spreading the property with you can do with arrays also, you can do with the object also. Okay. So when you say obj4 dot a is 34, okay, and you can just change the 34 to maybe let's say 78, and that won't reflect in obj2. Second one, the final one is something which need to check. Final one is let obj5 is equals to there's something called as JSON, and we have stringify. What is JSON? JSON stands for JavaScript Object.
Object notation.
Yes. So JSON means JavaScript object notation. Object notation means key value pairs. That's it. Nothing else. Object notation. This brings us to the same thing. So obj2 and stringify. So stringify, as the name says, a string. So this is a string. But you'll say what we will do with the string. So there is one more thing for your help. Again, what's the next one? JSON dot.
Parse.
Yes, parse. So parse the string. But remember, parsing will happen only on a valid JSON string. If the string is invalid, it will not parse it. Remember the point. Okay. Now we see that we have got the object back again. Now this creates a new object and sends to us. There are three of things. We'll talk about the things later, but yeah, these are the three ways. All clear now, guys? Any doubts in this one?
No, it's clear.
All right, proceeding forward. The thing was every everything in over here. Okay, so um, are all the primitive data types mutable or immutable? What do you guys think? Can we change the primitive data types or they are immutable?
The values assigned to primitive data types.
Yeah, can we
Yeah, I think we can change those.
okay, so it means, can I say that a string, if I have a string and I say string dot char at 0 equals to b, can I do that?
String dot char at
Okay,
b is
remember.
equals to 0.
Okay,
Uh,
how many of you remember from Java point, was a string mutable or immutable?
Immutable, I think. Immutable.
Yes, a string was immutable in Java. And the same thing follows here, guys. You can access it, that is a getter, that is not a setter. And not only string, all the primitive data types inside um, JavaScript are immutable. You cannot mutate them. Okay. So see this, guys. Just what I'm telling is. So this is a string. This is a string dot char 0. Okay. If you want to do this, let's say string w. Okay. So invalid left side in assignment. So it means that it won't allow. Although you can access it, that is accessing is possible. The getter is okay, but the setter is not allowed. So string is immutable, and even boolean number, everything is immutable in here, so you cannot mutate it. But you will say, sir, then how is this possible? So ab is equals to 90, but I say ab is equals to 57. So how is this possible?
This is just reassigning, right?
Yes, correct. This is just reassigning. This is not mutating
Uh,
means this, right?
yeah.
Okay, so this is the point. Okay, all right, guys. So this is a, I don't know, like a very important point. Okay, so not easy to find one, but yeah, that's the point. All right. Now, if you guys remember or if you have revised, I guess we already are done with the object dot keys. Are we done with this one? Okay. Let's have a quick recap, guys. I guess these topics like.
Yeah, yeah, these are done last session, I guess. Yeah,
All
it
right.
was done.
Thank you so much. Okay. And okay, so
Yes,
till this one, I guess.
discussed
Yeah.
callback functions as well.
Okay.
Yeah, callback was done, timing was done, D1 was. Timing there was also done.
Down we started.
Yeah, basics of like just a
Mhm.
little.
All right. So, but before we go to DOM, so what are callback functions, guys? Should we discuss it? What are callback functions? All right. Any function which I'm not calling, JavaScript is calling, based on a certain event, are called as callback function. For example, map. So, inside map we supply a function, but we don't call that function. Map itself calls that function. Remember this point, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe set timeout. So set timeout, you just supply a function. So let's have a function over here. It's probably an arrow function which we'll just see in some classes. So we have a console login over here, just nothing, just a console log. I will say times up. That's it. After 2 seconds. Okay. So the function you see inside in here is called as call.
Callback function.
Yes, callback function. So just a reference or the complete function body is passed. Okay, so not calling the functions. Who is calling the functions? JavaScript is calling
JavaScript. I mean, like this set timeout function is a predefined function in JavaScript, right?
in browser API. So this Chrome, Mozilla, they have this thing. Okay.
So it's a window. What we say that
Yeah.
window object.
Yes, it is part of the browser APIs. APIs means the browser supports them, not like JavaScript. Just when JavaScript sees this set amount, it sends it to browser. Hey, please handle this because we have to measure time, and time is taken from the system clock, and a language does not have that much authority. Like some languages have, but in this case, browser is responsible for handling these type of tasks. Not only this, we'll study about network request, and if you know there is a network card in our system which handles requests, so that is not allowed for a because that is hardware. Okay, that is a hardware level thing. So not everything is allowed to the language. So browser handles all these things. All right, guys. Okay, so if you remember, you give permission for the camera and the all those file accessing and all those things. So this is the permissions you are given. Okay, the time. Okay, okay, coming back to the point. That's the we'll discuss about callback. That is very important thing in JavaScript, and we'll discuss that. So Dom says the reason why we started JavaScript is why do we started JavaScript?
Because to make this look, I mean, like the web page is getting a framework frame thing structure, but events are not happening, like when we click or something, when we scroll something,
Hmm.
To
to
make it a bit more interactive.
to make it more lively.
Yes. Dynamic, adding dynamicness to the web page. Okay. All right. So this brings us to something called as DOM. Now DOM says कि whatever HTML code you are writing, whatever CSS style you are writing, everything I can control. Now, if that is being controlled by JavaScript, JavaScript can do anything. So it may be like switching off, switching on any style, even the style also, not only HTML, CSS also. So switching off the style, switching on the style, changing the color based on the button, and all those things are possible. This brings us to the first application which we are going to see today. Let's create a toggle. How many of you see have? How many of you have already seen that the toggle dark theme and light theme buttons on web pages?
Yeah, I have seen those.
Okay.
Just like a slide thing,
Yes. So
airplane mode on, airplane mode off, that kind of thing, right?
yep. So let's see how we can create our own theme toggle. We can have multiple themes, but yeah, let's. That's not our goal here. Our goal is how those things work. Okay. Coming back to that. Now there's something called as DOM, not DOM quad, something called as DOM. What is DOM like? Like application wise, what is DOM?
It's a basic tree-like structure which controls all the contents. I mean, like the code we write, head, body, everything, it takes and it converts into a tree-like structure so that
Yes.
it can be read easily, handled easily, manipulated easily.
Okay. Okay. So this is document. HTML is the document, and object is object. JavaScript loves object, so it converts all this code into an object, and this conversion is called as modeling. Okay, so that is why it is document object modeling, creating a model. So just a model. Okay. Uh, this brings us to the point. Just I'll be quick. So if I have already discussed the basics, so just a quick one. So document is the complete document referring to everything we have in here. The next thing is document dot head, which is referring to the head. And I guess you guys have probably guessed this one. So there's the next thing, which is body. So pointing to the body node. But yes, that's it. We cannot get inside body. we can get, but not with directly with document.body. Okay. So how do we get to the particular element? So this is a div which is says that I'm an innocent div, and this innocent div needs an ID. So let's give him ID. So ID says div one. Okay. Now we can achieve this. So we can check this part. I'm a div, and let's open this one. So copy path. So this brings us to this one. Now, how do we get this? So can someone does someone know about how can we access an element based on ID?
Document dot body dot the name of the ID, I guess.
Get element by ID.
Oh yeah, get element by ID. I forgot that.
Yes, get element by ID. So this is one thing. So get element by ID is a function which is already present in over here, accepts something as an accept something as an ID inside the string, and we can say that document.getElement by ID, and this is the ID. So div one. So div one. Okay, so we can see that we have got the div one in over. Now the point is, uh, what what are the things we can do? So how can I get the string of my div, that content? Can I say dot inner,
Inner HTML.
yes, inner HTML, inner text, inner HTML. Okay. So what is the difference between inner text and inner HTML?
It's giving the total HTML format and it's giving the total text format.
Yep. So what to do, what to use when we need, we have over here. Just for a quick one. So just for a quick note, see this guys. The thing changes when you have an input element. I'm talking about the content. Okay. Time is equals to number, and name is equals to, let's say, what I can say. Okay, this is not needed anyways. Okay, and this will see another way to access element. First way, get element by ID. This brings us to a second one. We have this input element, and I will write five something something. This brings us to how can I access element based on their name?
Get element by name.
Get element by
Name.
Tag name.
tag name. Okay, and the tag is input. But here is the catch, guys. Just remember, all the methods we have here are of two types. Either they return a single node, either they return a collection. Okay, so you have to be very particular. Like if the collection is there, so it means that 0, 1, 2, 3, this should be there. Okay, this, so the thing is, I cannot do something like this. Okay, I cannot do something like this. It will not give me the value any day. Okay, so you can see that text and HTML is not working. What will work here, guys?
I think text content is also there, I guess.
Text content. Okay, here value will work. Value. Okay, there's a catch. So input is input name and value. These are very important thing when we'll study this we discussed, but that was very on the first class of WebD. When we were talking about forms, so we said that whenever we submit the form, so name and the value pair is sent it to the backend server. We'll check it out. So this is what the value is. Okay, and we did so this is something different. Okay, this brings us to the thing that we have two ways: either to go with ID, either to go with tag name. So what are the other ways? The other ways are already mentioned. So we have get element by class, get element tag, get element by ID. Two more generalized ones. Generalized means they don't say the ID or class name, they say anything you want to write. What do we mean by anything? Any CSS selector you prefer to write, you can write it over there. Okay, so let's see that part. any CSS selector. So how to deal with that? So I can say that. So instead of going the same div in the other way, document dot query selector. So query selector, we have this query selector over here. The point is, now I have to write the CSS selector. So CSS selector will take a hash. How do you style it? By using hash. So I need to give the hash. What if I want the input? So how do we style input? Just by mentioning the input name. So query selector exactly needs the CSS way of writing the selector. For example, this is true for combinator selectors. Combinator selectors, right? I want to get the button which is inside div one. This toggle home button. So I can say dash and button. Remember this combinator selector, guys? Guys, everyone remembers, right?
Yeah, that's one. That one was from CSS, right?
Yes. This arrow means the child selector. Okay. So this is how you will be reaching to a particular element inside in over here. Now this brings us to the next one. So how to access the elements? So these are the ways to access the elements. Okay. Any doubts still here, guys? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
All right. And for one and multiple, so there are two things. So for one button or multiple buttons, so just replace query selector with query selector all. It will supply you the list. Okay. So since here is only one button, so it is giving one button. So there's multiple buttons, so it will supply the multiple buttons. Okay. So query selector and query selector. So query selector and query selector are a generalized, and ID class tag name. Those are not generalized, so they need exact the class ID and all those things. All right, guys. So, what's next? This brings us to something we call as event handling. Now, um, so when we were asking like why we are learning JavaScript, so this thing was mentioned that we should be doing something on event. Now, can someone give example of events?
Click is an event.
Okay.
Um,
Typing is an event.
Okay.
Zoom, scroll, all
Yes.
these are events.
Uh, typing is an event. Okay. Keyboard event. Okay. Hovering is an event, and all those things are there. So let's see our first event, which is related to our toggle theme feature. So let's create our feature. So our feature will be, I will click on this toggle. Okay. Let's say that the function name will be change theme. Click is an event. This brings us to two things. Let me remove this because I want to discuss one more thing before I move to this one. So events in JavaScript are the things we just discussed. How to react on those events is done by event handling. Now, how to do event handling is the second question. So, the event handling, there are some functions which we call as event handlers. How do they do the job? Let's see. So, first of all, our job will be to get the element in which we want to put our handler. So how to get our element? So I will say const toggle button. So I can give this button an ID to get it, but let's practice the query selector. So I will say document dot query selector, and I can say hash div in over here and button. So this will supply the sorry this is div one, right? This will supply div and the button. Now since I have the button inside me, so I have this toggle button
So
thing
there
on.
one doubt is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this greater than symbol will fetch the immediate child, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And when we skip it, it will check all the descendant. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this is just for the immediate child. But the point is, now we have the button. This brings us to the second thing. Once we have the button, so every element with support event has a function which we call as, what is the function name, guys?
Add event listener.
Yes, add event listener. So this is what we have. Add event listener. The first argument is the event itself. The event is click. The second argument is the,
Function.
yes. And what we call those type of function? Listeners or callback functions. Okay, callback. Just so one once click, then it will run. So who's running the function? So JavaScript is running the function. So either we create the function outside, or we can write the complete function inside in here also, which I do not support. So let's create a function outside. So we shouldn't mess like everything up. So function change theme. Okay, so there's a change theme function, and it says that. Okay, let's take it first. Okay, then we'll move to the changes. So console log, uh, click. Okay, click, and I want to show you something else. So let's print something called as event. Okay. So here's the event listener ready. Change theme and event. The button is done. We have fetched the button and added the listener to it, and the listener is working on click, and it is running the function. The only new thing we are doing here is add event listener, the first argument, type of event, second argument, function which will run on that event. That is it. Let's see. So I will copy path and paste it in over here. Okay, so it was the same thing. Okay, anyways. So let's click this button. So let's, okay, so I'll say toggle theme, and this is not toggling the theme. And why is that? Did our, so we can quickly copy this part and we can paste it in and over here. So it says that toggle button has been already declared. Where is that? Okay, so it is already loaded in the page. So let's say toggle button. Okay, and did this thing not run? What's wrong here? The wrong thing here is I shouldn't be calling the function exactly. Okay, and if I want to supply the event, I do not have to see here, guys. There's a catch. The catch is I'm not one to call the function. JavaScript to call the function. That what was a mistake. See, so and probably the calling sign shouldn't be here because it's a callback function. So JavaScript will say, hey, you do not have to do that. Okay, I will do that. So now it is working. So when you see click, 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 okay, and you see all the things. I printed something called as event, which is supplied to the function by default by JavaScript. Now this event, as the name suggests, it has the information about the event which took place. Okay, so let me open this object. It says alt key, no, it says false. What is the altitude angle? So this is the angle. Okay, azimuthal. So these are related to chemistry. If you remember, the azimuthal angle was there. But yeah, let's come to point. Control key, nope. What is required for us? Yeah, you see this path over here. What is the path? Window to document to HTML to body to div1 to button. Okay, so this is the digging deep, which was triggered from the root of the tree to the element, pointer type, mouse, screen X, this is screen Y, and the timestamp and the type click. And X and Y was 27. So X and Y gives the exact coordinate where the click happened. Okay, so this is what it provides us. So this is what event contains, every information about the event. one way to handle event. There's another way to handle event, and um, that is copy, which is a bit easier. What is the other way, guys? What's the other way? The other way is writing the attribute in over here, and this time we have to call the function. Okay, this time we cannot skip calling, so we have to exactly call the function. All right, so either you go with this approach, add event listener, or you just directly say on click is equals to the function. Both will do the same job. So quick refresh, not this one. Where's it? A quick refresh, and it does the same thing. So no changes required. Okay. This brings us to our main goal. The goal is to apply theme. So let's apply the theme. So what was the initial style? There's no initial style, so let's put initial style. So style is this one, and the body. Take at the body uh, color is initially black, and um, the color is initially black, and the background color is initially the white one. So these are the initial colors. On the button click, I want to flip the colors. Okay, so let's flip the colors. Okay, so this is what we have. Is the CSS loaded? Just a second, guys. Um, yeah, the CSS out. Let's flip the color. So when the on click happens, how do I flip the color? See this. Can someone help? How should I change the color of body? Okay, and we are creating toggle. Okay, so toggle means switch on, switch off. Both should be supported. Okay, so let's support both of them. So I will say let current current color. Okay, let the current color is equals to. So the styles are both getter and setter. Getter is there, also setter is there. How does this work? So document dot body dot style, body dot style. So style is a property to access the style, and the style offers everything we need. Means dot color. So color is over here. It is a both setter and both getter. So we are getting now. We can set it also. So the current color based on the current color. So if current color. So if current color is okay. See this guys. This is the current color. Okay. Now I want to flip it. How do I flip it? So I'll say document dot color is equals to. So this is getter and this is also setter. So color I want to set as. So if the current color is equals black, black spelling is correct. Yes. Okay. So black. So make it white, and otherwise white. So make it the same thing for the background also. Okay. So copy, paste, just the same thing. So current um, PG color. Okay. All right, guys. The color should be background, and this also back, background. Okay. So current background color is equals to black, then switch to white, and if it is white, switch to black. Let's test our toggle. So we'll have a quick refresh. Okay. So we can see that this is up here. Okay. But there's something wrong with our this I am a dev string. But background color is like, do you guys see the changes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the inner color, just keep on clicking. The color inside black, it's not getting white, right?
Yes. So
The outside color is getting black, but there's no change inside, I think.
yes, correct. So let's figure that out. Why is that happening? Should be happening. So it says that what did we miss? Background is working correctly, but the color is not working correctly. It is saying that if it is black, make it white, and if it is white, it should make it black. Apply to the same logic, right? One is working, one is not working.
Yeah,
Okay, so okay, there must be something we are missing. I'm not sure what we are missing. So
maybe it should be white first, then black, or then white. I'm not sure. It's black already, so maybe white.
uh, okay. Hmm. So document dot body dot style dot color is equals to the current
So
color. If the computation is saying black, so it should make it white.
white is white. It should be black.
Hmm. Okay. So I'm not sure. Okay, this won't help anyways. Just changing the order won't help. So what's missing? What's missing? Current color, current color. So should I do it um, at the same time or or something else? Hmm. So current color. Okay, let's just observe once what is happening exactly. Then only we can debug, right? Now this is following the thing. So this is black, and okay, just a second. Is this text or is this div following the style? Is this, yeah? It is taking the style. Okay, the background color is black. So okay, let's just focus on this one. What is happening exactly? So I will just have a click. Okay, not refresh. Click. Okay. So this is what happened. Our color black is not being applied. It means that the color black is not being applied. So color black was initially it was black and now also black. But how can this be possible? Okay, just a second, guys. Let me have a console.log. Okay, so um, initially, so okay, current. Oh, sorry, guys. The initial one, I guess this would solve the issue. See this. Okay, this is also not solving the issue. Uh, okay, so current background color is empty and current color is okay. This is totally strange because because there is something called as, see this guys, there is a catch in over here. Document dot body dot get computed. Okay, now initially since we do not have any color, line color with help of JavaScript. So JavaScript is not detecting the already present styles. So this is one thing we should remember when we are using JavaScript. Okay. So what to do? So there's something called as get computed style. Okay, which will help us in here with our issue. Okay, that's it. And the element is body. Just a second, guys. Okay. Already. Just a second, guys. It's raining down here. Let me switch the room. All right. So this will be helping us. And how do we get this one? So okay, okay. So event dot target for the computed or the already present style. What we can do is uh okay, or or there is one work around we can do that. So either we go with the computed style or there is one more workaround I have for you guys. So just see this. We'll discuss that also. But yeah, see the point. Point is, instead of doing this, since we already know the color from the beginning, which is white, this is already known to us, isn't it, guys? And so this is already known to us. Okay. So do not have to take care of this. Now this should be working because first time it is black, and the thing is, let's cut this part, and it should change in over. Just calling this function again. Okay, let's try it out if this approach works. So now we could refresh. Okay. Is it clear, guys? How did we handle this situation?
Yeah.
Okay. Just see this, guys. What was happening is initially JavaScript cannot compute already present style. So the thing is, let's put a dummy because we already know that what is the initial ones. Okay. Based on this, the first time the issue is only first time because from the next time it will be able to calculate it because JavaScript if it is setting it so it will be able to calculate also. The issue is only first time. So the for the first time I have provided default value. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now
But
let
I
yeah.
don't think it's still changing inside, right?
Which one?
The inside the button,
Mm-hmm.
the
Inside the button. Okay, let's see.
the white thing background is getting black,
Mm-hmm.
but there is no change in the button. The white is not getting black.
Okay, so why button is not getting black? Button is not changing at all. Okay.
So we have given two options, right? The one is the background
Mm-hmm.
color and one is
Mm-hmm.
the color of the button.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Okay. So what is happening is this button is already coming with its own set of style. Okay. So we won't be able to override all of them. Okay.
okay,
So we are. So
okay.
you see this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that is why this is not changing.
Okay, so we can. How do we write our own buttons then? I mean, like, if I need a certain button, then how do I change the attributes of button?
um, Give any ID class name. So this is by default. So if I supply any ID default or class name, so that will work. It's simple as we write a style. So we can say that background none, and see we have removed the background, and even we can remove the borders also. So you can just do border and can go with none. Make sense?
Okay, okay. So we have to change these backgrounds to mess with that button. Okay.
Yes, yes. Just how we write the normal styles. Yeah. So guys, these are the two ways we can use it. Just a second, guys. So it's 9%. Okay, so we can have it at half an hour. Okay, so this is what we have. All right. So what is the other thing? So either we go with the attributes one. Okay, the attributes way for the elements, or either we go with the add event listener elements. Okay. Now the script tag and the JavaScript code. So script tag is this one. So script whatever script we are writing in over here. Anyone can explain why we are writing a script at the end of a file?
Yeah, because when a page is loaded, it starts reading from the top, and there is something called async. No, no. There are two types or three types in which the page is loading. So if we put the JavaScript at the end, and it starts loading this simultaneously as well, and the HTML and CSS as well. I'm not sure if this is correct. I've read this. So if it loads first complete HTML, then complete CSS, and then it comes to JavaScript. So if a file is written in the top, it stops the HTML and starts loading the JavaScript file. So everything gets stuck.
Yes, yes, correct.
I think I put it like I didn't put it the right way, but
Mm-hmm.
the point I'm trying to make is once the HTML is completely loaded, then the CSS, then the bottom JavaScript starts loading. If you put the JavaScript at the top,
Mm-hmm.
it gets stuck. It starts
Yes.
parsing the JavaScript file first.
Mm-hmm.
Then it after that is done, it comes to CSS, then HTML. So the user will be having like what's happening like that.
Yes. And the one most basic thing can be you see this document dot body. If body is loaded after this document dot body, so document dot body will throw us undefined, right?
Yeah, because HTML won't be loaded yet, I guess, right?
Yes, yes, correct, very correct. So if you are accessing an element and the element is not present, so that is why we write at the end. Everything is loaded, then this will run. All right. So what's next? The next thing is this is one click event. We have similar
I think
events.
we
Yeah.
missed few parts like API something,
Uh,
API lambda
API.
function,
Oh,
accessible
okay, okay. Lambda function will
API.
be discussing later. Let's talk
Okay,
about something as
API.
API.
Yeah.
How many of you know about API? What is an API? What is API, guys? Full form. API is Application Programming Interface. Now, yeah, Dinesh, you want to say something? Okay. So, application programming interface. Now, just understand this. I'm a developer. I wrote some code and to help the community, and so that the people in my community, the developer community, does not have to struggle writing the same code again, and they can use my code. Okay. So someone has already written this DOM thing, right? So which is working for us. That is an API. Someone has already written this set a timeout. So how to calculate the system time? So that is, like that's looks like a single word, but there's lots of things going inside it. So that is one API. So we call these as some of the. Yeah, you want to say something?
So something like predefined functions or set of programs which are predefined
Yes.
by somebody.
Yes. Yes. So that is what we call as API. We will also create our own APIs when we move to backend. Okay, so to help the community, maybe. So maybe we can develop something so good that other people can benefit from it. Okay, so that is the point. All right. Next thing was a set list and all those things. Okay, so can check it out. Set JavaScript. So how set functions? So set we already seen in DSA. So it says that objects let you store unique values of any type, whether primitive or object. So primitive, non-primitive doesn't matter. You can store. So set may only occur once. So have add methods over here, clear is there, delete is there, entries for each. So we have an iteration over here. So we have an iteration. Okay, so we can check it out. All right. Apart from set, we have map JavaScript. So map function is also in here. So these are the STLs. Okay, the things we already have. So not array map, not now. So map. So map object holds key value pairs. Remembers the original insertion order of the keys. Remembering original insertion order of the keys. This is very important thing, guys. Normal object does not remember the insertion order. Okay, so that is random. Try to create an object. Okay, you will see that that is not remembering the insertion order.
So it
But
means like it remembers the order, first name, date of birth, age, like that. The set of order this map function remembers, right?
yes, yes. So as soon as you go on setting it, so it remember A, then B, then C, and so on. Okay, the same thing. Key value pairs. Any value, both object and primitive may be used as one more difference. In object, the keys are always
Unique.
yes, but here anything is allowed. As anything is allowed in Java also. Map Java, hash map. Okay. Go through these ones. Okay. So, and yeah, this was asked in an interview from a person asked an interview. I don't know like what when you will be using it. See, honestly, I have never used it, but yes, it was asked in interview because interviewers want some exotic questions. So this is one of them. So that's why I've already mentioned it. So the document I have here, guys, I have written everything I came across interviews. So just even if I leave something, so do not leave something. Okay, that is the thing. Node list we just already node list we saw, right? So where did we see node list? Document dot get element by class name. So class name will return a list of nodes because class has many elements and node means the particular element and holding them in a list. Make sense, guys? So there's something called
Can you
as
explain the node list again?
document dot query selector all या फिर document dot get element by class name. So get element by class name will give you more than one node because it's a class name.
Okay.
So the list is which is coming to us is called as node list. Okay.
Okay. So if there are n number of classes, the n number of list will come, right?
Yes. So and get element by class name. So do we have a class name in over here? Let's check it out. So okay. So ctrlf class. Yes, we have a class in over here. Okay. So we have 25,000 class in over here. We just need this one. So we'll just put it over here, and you can see that I have a node list in over here. Okay. So this is what we call as. All right. So list JavaScript. So list JavaScript. Okay. Arrays. Okay. So this is a list in over here. Supplying array over here. So list is like what do you say wrapper. Okay. So we can create list using an array. So we have it in over here. Okay. So there's some more things related to this, but yeah, just check it out. Okay. All All right. This brings us to the next one, which we're going to see. So accessing DOM is done. Element handle means, so what is element handle? So this, what you see this this one, no, like the toggle button. So once we have already fetched the element, we can run any functions over it. So this is called as the element handle. Okay, and I can run any function. So I can write inner HTML dot style, anything I want to change, anything I want to access or fetch, I can do with this element handle. This brings us to the next thing. The next thing is mouse and keyboard events. Now this click was an event. Okay, there's a click. This click is an event. Similar to this, we have mouse over event. So let's see how mouse over event works. How many of you know what is a mouse over event? How should it work?
When we hover something.
Yes. So on mouse over. So on mouse over is, I'll say that mouse like mouse over. So console.log hovering. Okay, so there's a hovering okay thing, and once the hovering is done, so on mouse out. Okay, so the out is there and hover is there. So out means it's just out. Okay, so we can put a console.log. So it will just mouse out. All right, guys, we have this, and let's check it out. Okay, so you can see that hovering mouse out, hovering mouse out. Okay, so you can see that. This brings us to very important thing. Okay, this brings us to very important thing. You can see that there are lots of event triggered. Okay, so there's says that there is a lot of event trigger. So for lots of events, the hovering is taking only once. We are hovering, okay, but yeah, unless this hovering is done, so this is happening. Someone just so we just mentioned that there is an event which we call as scroll. So how do we handle that? See this on a scroll. Okay, so I will put something in over here, and here's the key. Okay, so this event is also there, and it's rolled. Okay. Okay, so scroll bar is not present. So let's bring a scroll bar over here. So I will say uh, the height goes 220 VH, and yes, that is it. Okay. So you see the scroll event, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Here it says 96 event triggered. That is very highly unoptimized thing. Okay. So in the next session, we are going to see something as how to handle this unoptimization. So there are two or three functions. Okay, so functions will basically handle this unoptimization. Like how can we handle it? Suppose you want to run a simple functions. So that simple function will be triggered 36 times. And if there are 10 people accessing your website, it should be triggered 360 times in a single second. And that is also less than a second. Maybe that less than a second. So no. So we need to see how do we access these um, things. So this becomes very important to like check, guys. Okay, so we'll see how do we handle this. So let me add a thing over here so that I don't forget. So handle multiple triggers. Okay. Just find out how we can deal with this. Okay. We'll discuss in the next section. So mouse over is there, mouse out is there, and let's see the event for today. Last event for today. Okay. That is the keyboard events. Okay. So for the keyboard events, I need something like input one. Okay. And let's work something like on key press. So I will say key press handler. Okay, the key press handler, and this handler should be having a button, and the event should be supplied because I want to print the events. So function key press handler. There is a event, and I want to console.log this event. Okay, and yes, that is it. So let's log it, and you'll see that keyboard events are very informative enough. Okay, and before I go to the information, let me remove this, guys. On scroll events, I do not want my RAM to battery to die because the amount of triggers it's following it will just kill it. So, okay, the last one. Alright, guys, just see this, guys. So pressing the keys, and this is what we are getting. So this is a type number, so I cannot type in. Okay, so I can type in, yeah, but it will not show up right there. So this is the keys type. Opening the event, so we can see that it's in key K was pressed, key was K. This is the path. The type is key press, like the event type is key press. So every information we have over here is being over here. Now you can see that there is something called as key code 107. How many of you know what is this 107? Or this char code? How many already know that? Okay, let me type A and tell me what is this. For A, it is the key code should be
723 or 70, 97.
Ask,
Keyboard, yeah. Okay, okay.
yes. So that is the char code is the sky value it is printing. Okay. So we have every information with us, and I can press the enter key. Let's press enter key. Enter key is not detected. Okay, so enter key is not detected. It is detected. Yeah, enter key is detected. Option key, no. Command key, no. Backspace, no. Okay. So key press is not detecting all the keys. Alphanumeric digits and the symbols are just detected. This brings us to the other event, which is on key up. Why do we have on key up if you already have a key press? See this, guys. So I have the thing on over here, and I am going to press backspace C. So tell me what is the difference in key up and key press? What is the difference? Key up is executing on all,
Releasing the key.
yes, and all the events are triggered, right? Caps lock, shift, backspace, everything. Whereas key press is only triggering the alphanumeric and the symbols.
Only the ASCII keys are being triggered in the keypress.
Yep. So that is what the point. Because key up means the part is done. Okay. So this is what we have in events, guys, and yeah. So like I hope you got the events. Okay. We'll add more to it tomorrow. Okay. And before that, let's have the attendance. So today's
September 3rd.
three, right? Okay, so three. So please mark attendance, and this is Saturday. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Bye.
Yeah, I have a doubt.
Okay.
Actually, it's not related to the topic, but previous session we have discussed like something we'll have an project building something kind of thing.
Yeah. So for that we need a DOM, and in today's class we have DOM. So the next session is the alarm clock thing which we are going to build is the next session.
Yeah, alarm clock.
Okay.
So we're gonna work on that tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Okay, sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
अब जाओ हमारा बाथरूम से
चलो गई लोग चलो अने जी कहीं भी देखा था